Among the plains of the Midwest, during the months of September to November, it is common to see combines and tractors in the field harvesting this year's crop of corn and soybeans. But one thing you might see that you haven't noticed before is hints of green popping up in between each row. These plants are known as cover crops.
This is a radish. And then we've got some alfalfa and clover in here. This is an alfalfa plant. And you can see here some of our last year's cover crop. The dead stuff is still there.
A cover crop is a plant that is used to cover the soil for the winter months to help with a variety of environmental factors, such as slowing the rate of erosion, improving soil health, enhancing water availability, and managing nutrient runoff. Cover crops are not used as a cash crop. In other words, farmers do not plant this looking to harvest it later and make a profit off of it as they do row crops such as corn and soybeans. They plant cover crops to become better stewards of the land and enhance the health of the soil.
We think about the functions of soil. Soil is to provide support for plants, water for plants, nutrients for plants, all the biological activity within the soil. And you think about the resilience in soil, and that's really the capability of restoring those functions after they've been perturbed. Well, soil health is really that ability to maintain functions and have resilience at the same time. And so I think we need to think about soil health from an idea of being able to provide all those functions, but when something happens, to be able to provide those functions as quickly as possible.
How is soil health important to agriculture?
Agriculture exists in an ecological system, and we often lose sight of that. We tend to think about how much agriculture is produced, but in reality, when we think about agriculture in a larger context of ecology, we've got ecosystem services. We think about how much it produces, but then we also need to think about what we're doing for environmental quality, what we're doing for the support of all the other things that go on, like pollinator habitat, wildlife habitat. But then there's also a cultural value of agriculture as well. When we think about this soil health piece, it really is, how do we optimize? and that's always an elusive term as well. How do we optimize all of those functions at the same time?
In the last couple of years, concerns for the environment and climate change have made its way into the headlines and has become a large topic in today's political talk. The attention this issue has brought has led to various discussions on how humans can work to reverse the effects of climate change. This is where soil health comes into play. Soil sequestration, or capturing and storing carbon by ways of the soil, is one possible method to combat climate change. The soil has a natural ability to pull carbon out of the atmosphere and store it underground. In order to aid in this process, soil health practices have become commonplace on farms across the country.
Soil health is a path to get us back to where we were originally, because that functionality that we talk about, the functions of being able to supply water, supply nutrients, being able to provide that optimum structure for that plant to support itself, is embodied within soil health. How do we begin to think about this whole path of being able to create that resilience, but also how do we begin to look at the practices it takes to do that? Reducing tillage, adding cover crops, going to diverse rotations, adding livestock back into the system, adding biological activity back into that system, are all embodied in that whole thing of soil health. There's just not a simple one thing that you do that creates soil health. It is a complex thing. Just like a human, there's not one thing that we do that creates health for us. It's a combination of things. It's exercise, it's lifestyle, it's diet, it's stress, all those other things. Well, soil's the same way. That there's not one practice that we do that creates health. It's a combination of things.
Since farmers directly work on the land on a daily basis, this makes them a prime candidate to apply these practices to their field. Many coalitions and initiatives have started up to help farmers make the transition of applying these practices on their operation. Lance Lillenbridge is an eastern Iowa farmer taking part in a pilot project called the Soil and Water Outcomes Fund. This program is privately funded, partly by Cargill, to incentivize farmers to integrate and use cover crops in their operation.
We strip till on this farm, and that was one thing that we kind of started doing on our own, and the Soil and Water Outcomes Fund is helping to reward farmers for changing practices. So one of the changes that we made after we started strip tilling was to use cover crops, and the cover crop thing, there's definitely benefits into it, but it's hard to realize a return on investment. There's not a good way to measure that. We can see that a cover crop is keeping the soil green, and it's developing root systems and maybe capturing nutrients and nitrate. And so we all realize that that's a good thing, but we're not sure how to measure it.
Not having an accurate and standardized way to measure the rate of carbon captured on a field is one of the challenges these programs face. Another challenge is the cost of cover crops themselves. It costs Lillenbridge approximately $40 to $50 an acre to add cover crops to his operation. That includes the seed and paying the pilot to fly the seed over his field, which you can see taking place here.
How do you measure a rate of return on that cost of investment? It's kind of difficult, and so that's turning people off, especially in an ag environment where it's not overly profitable right now. So having programs like this will help incentivize. It's a way to reward producers for what they're doing.
As with any other agricultural practice, producers want to make sure their efforts make good economic sense and have a long-term benefit for their operation. And in this case, that means measuring the amount of carbon sequestered in the soil. We'll talk about that next.